Hello, I was Eros. Now I'm hiding from Corona. Um, I've been here for an hour. I am just trying to record desperately. I was in my shower just before. This wasn't meant to look like this. I was meant to be on a couch, not in my pajamas. But we're here now because Corona and self-isolation is driving me insane, and I keep doing things wrong. I didn't set up my lighting. I didn't get a microphone out. I have so many failed careers, You can add YouTuber to that. I am a failed songwriter. I'm a failed artist, photographer, creative director, being a model, an influencer. I'm just an all-around fail. I would like to add barista to that because Corona took my job from me. So, no more making coffee for me. I was in the shower. I was basically repeating everything I was going to say here. It sounded fluid. It sounded like a person was talking. It sounded cohesive. You know, it sounded like I had a presence, and now I'm here, and I feel like a robot, but one that does not. One that does not work. I don't know how to edit, but I'm going to put something up there to a simply nailogical video about a robot that is me. I wanted to come to you and hopefully not ramble too much. I have a habit of doing that. About Prayers of a Dogmatist. This is Prayers of a Dogmatist explained. So yes, I wanted to talk about my rather polarizing release. I wrote it nearly a year ago. This is the 30th of March at the moment where I am. And I wrote it in April last year. I wrote it just after Gemini Venom, but before I wrote Follower. And so that was a long time ago. I only produced it last November though. And after I produced it, I worked with a mixing engineer. I'm going to butcher his name. His name is Andrey Paschenko. I'll put a link to him down below. And I also worked with a mastering engineer called Will Sterling. I think I got that one right. I'll put his link down below to finish the final touches, the mixing and mastering. I am trying to learn to do that, but, I didn't feel up to it then. And then after that, me and my friend Taylah began planning the music video. And this was her debut as a director. She worked as kind of like an executive producer on my last two. I don't count Follower as a music video. No one was there for that but me. There was Unsanctified and Gemini Venom. The Gemini Venom music video disappeared. There's a few allusions to that actually in this music video. If you know anything about the kind of aesthetic I was pulling off. I was wearing a white suit, there were masks and stuff, some keys, in the Gemini Venom music video, see if you can spot any of that. It was her debut as a director. I think she did a great job personally. I guess not that I would know, but I really felt like she was able to take where I was and what was around me and make it feel more alive. Really encourage me to try and do my best. I don't have a very great video presence and it can be hard. I am no actor. Add that to my list of failed careers. No, I'm not trying to be an actor, but hopefully I will work on getting better at that sort of stuff, but I feel like I was more out of, my comfort zone and willing to do more there than previously. I was a little bit less still, apart from when I needed to be still under the green lights and everything. We'll get to that. So after we went to South Bank to film, it's a place in Brisbane. It's a very pretty place. We booked out a hotel, and we got into the hotel room and we got out our filming equipment and we got on the bed. We let the magic happen. Sorry if I just randomly do that. I'm checking it's recording, but yeah, we did that. We had a lot of fun. Then we worked with a video editor called Burrettepro, I think. I'll put that link down in the description as well. That link is also in the description of the video. To finish the video off, I am very proud of the work, but something you gotta remember when you're viewing the music video, when you're listening to the song, you're looking at the promotional work, none of it was made to be pretty. I was not trying to make something that sounded, ultra polished or anything like that. I wanted to unsettle the audience, the song isn't about a pretty topic. I don't want to make it sound pretty. I love the way it sounds, but I do understand that it was not made to be accessible to a broad audience, and that is a problem with some things. For newer artists, it's often probably better to start off making things with a broader audience in mind before getting more experimental, because people are already invested in you. So,
Think of me as a great example of what not to do.
but I do love the way it sounds. Personally, I know that there are people who do love the way it sounds, believe it or not, and I like that it invokes thoughts about a deeper issue. So let's get right into the lyric breakdown. So the song itself is about religious extremism in the context of homosexuality. Now, this is not an attack on faith. It is a comment on the practice of hate, both passive and aggressive, within some Abrahamic denominations towards the LGBT plus community. Now, don't get me wrong, you'll find some very accepting groups of religious organizations in all different faiths, but I'm only talking about the religious extremism that is homophobic and hateful in nature, not religion in general. The metaphors and techniques used in the song are all Christian orientated. I do not feel like I am qualified to talk about Judaism or Islam. I don't know enough about the different denominations. I do know about various things to do with those religions, but I am not qualified to talk about them. I do not feel comfortable talking about them. I feel like Christianity is something I have studied quite vigorously. I feel I can pull from. I feel like it is okay for me to do so. Um, yeah, I feel comfortable doing that. Sorry if that doesn't appeal to you that I've done that. So let's just, get right into it. Let's read out the introduction. I'm so paranoid that video is going to turn off. Bent my knees and shackled my neck, tattooed her name on my lips. Pulled back the devil, but he slips through the cracks. He grips, he strips, he's the eclipse of all heavenly scripts. And he pulled me to his arms and scared the angels away. So, most of the song is a fictional narrative in the sense that it's not my direct experience necessarily, but it pulls from parts of my experience. But the introduction is the main thing that I pull from, that pulls from my own narrative. So the introduction is about being in the closet. Feeling shackled to this idea of a heteronormative world where anything outside of that is inherently evil. I know that some people may feel that some of the allusions to the devil make me a Satanist. That is quite a literal way of taking the metaphor. It is a metaphor. The devil is a metaphor for homosexuality being perceived as evil. He will not be pulled to the back of the closet, he'll change you. I couldn't keep telling myself I was straight.
No one else believes.
When you embrace that part of you, you change, and it affects the way you see things. It affects your perception of the world. But yeah, it is a metaphor for self-discovery. It is not Satanism. The pre-chorus. The pre-chorus uses a lot of sibilants. I still can't say it. Sibilants to create sharp, unsettling sounds. I'm gonna read it out to you, and I'll over-exaggerate those sounds so you can hear them. Bound my hands with leather. Tied me down, gagged me up. Nail me down, raise me up. Gets a bit heavy-handed here. Pierce my eyes, scrape my hips, slit my thighs, shred my lips, tear my hair crimson, kiss. I did put all those sounds in for a reason. There's a lot of sexual imagery there, a lot of violent imagery, but that is a form of mockery in this context. If you take all of that out of it, you can picture this romantic scene. It's a sexual scene. It's a violent scene. I'm talking about that connection within passion, between hatred and love or sexual attraction. So it's basically, how there's that joke where, someone's bullying someone else, so they pretend they're into it, and then it gets weird and the person stops. It's a kind of an allusion to that idea of things. I'm mocking someone by hypersexualizing their hatred because it's so passionate that, you know, I can, frame it in a funny and humorous way to be something that it's not. I don't think that groups of people practicing hatred are really just, well, maybe some of them, but secretly, But I'm making a joke there. I'm mocking. Soz, guys. The humor might not be there right away, but it's not a funny song. It was some hidden, alluded to humor. The chorus, it has some of those ideas of violent imagery and sibilance. I said it right. They lust to hear my neck snap. Lust to see my skull crack, lust to tie my body up and paint my skin with gas. Use me as your ashtray, preach until you turn grey. Decorate my throat with a rope and blame it on the knife. There's so many people who want me dead. That was actually the name of the song, There's So Many People Who Want Me Dead. And then I was talking to Taylah and she's just like, hey, it might be a bit long. And I'm just like, yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, I do have to give the name of the song, I need to give her some credit for that. She was a major help with that. So the chorus was meant to be a little more on the nose, if you know what I mean. It's meant to be a bit more explicit than every other line. The first line I wrote for the whole song was there's so many people who want me dead, and the rest of the song just unfolded from that. And, I just wanted it to be kind of on the nose. I was quite shocked when I thought of that. I just thought to myself, there are people who want me to die. There are people who want me to suffer for eternity because
I like dudes.
the first three lines is basically, they want to hang me, they want to beat me up, they want to burn me. Those are just allusions to things that have been done to gay people for a long time. Less now, specifically with the hanging and burning, I like to think, but it's happened. Use me as your ashtray. It's a link not only to the burning, but there is a British word for cigarettes that gay people are commonly referred to as. It's not a very nice word, and it's that. That's the illusion there. Preach until you turn grey. That's pretty on the nose. I'm mocking, and I'm just like, yes, do this to me. But decorate my throat with a rope and blame it on the knife. You can frame this how you like while you're doing this to me, but you're blaming it on something else. It's another allusion to, you can say it's about this, but, it's the mocking, I'm saying that, you can say it's about, your beliefs, but, it's obviously mocking, not meant to be taken too literally there. I'm making another joke. There is humor in this song, believe it or not. It's just not humor that hits you straight away. It might not even be that funny. I find it funny. It's probably funny in other forms, maybe not this one. The verse the verse is mainly about Jesus. I'll get into that. So, frame me up, break me apart, hack my heart, fill your chalice, sip my blood, make me callous, engrave holy words, a sadist kiss, enjoy your last supper, right in my heart splits. So first we had the allusions to the breaking of the bread, the pouring of the wine that was symbolic to the body and blood of Jesus Christ, and to the Last Supper. We got break me apart, fill your chalice, sip my blood. Enjoy your Last Supper. We've got lines like that. Believe it or not, this was an allusion to one of the common Jesuit ethical frameworks, the belief that Jesus was a pacifist. Though not all people subscribe to this theory, I was playing off of this. They don't not all subscribe to that. There are fors and against whether Jesus was completely a pacifist or not. The early Judeo-Christians and things were quite, as far as I know, they were quite pacifist. They didn't want to fight back. That was part of why the Roman Empire was so they were picked on so easily by them. I'm just gonna scrapple that.
Yeah, they were, I'm pretty sure, mainly pacifists then. A lot of that changed when it was the conversion of Constantine. It's called when the Roman Empire to Christianity, as this is after Judaism to becoming Christian. This was, I think, still becoming Christian. I'm not being very much, I'm sorry. But that's when we get a lot of evangelization from, and a lot more violent parts of Christian history do come from that joining the Roman Empire and Christianity, or Judeo-Christian. A lot of it can be traced back to them looking for some people who believe.
But I was pointing out the Jesus the pacifist thing to create, this irony. These people who do practice these ideas of hatred, they also, because the song itself are using very Christian orientated things. We're looking at Christianity mainly. When we look at like the initial skim of the song, it's all Christian metaphors. You follow this person who, in this context, is a pacifist, yet you are spreading hate and judgment. That is the thing I'm making, but of course there's lots of subjectivity there. So, unfortunately, I can't express all of that in a song, believe it or not. Songs are normally exaggeration and framing. But, yeah, there's a greater argument around there somewhere. Once again, comment on religious extremism, not faith. I'd like to point out that if you're going to talk about religion in a way where you don't like religion, you've also got to remember
Sorry if that was a bit close to the mic.
that there are many religious people and religious organizations doing wonderful things for the world and for people in need. So, there's no just good and just bad, there's both in everything, including religion. So then we have the actual symbolism in the music video. We have the, religious extremism stuff, the lighting. We've got green lights. They were, passive hatred or ideas of hatred. The red lights, more aggressive, Green lights, I was sitting kind of still, looking like a zombie. We got the red lights, and I look like I'm having a seizure. We've also got day scenes and night scenes, kind of represent the same thing, but we're also looking at the idea of black and white thinking, or literalism, which when we're looking at religious extremism or fundamentalism, there is normally at least a primary component of taking something very literal. And that isn't to say that literalism is wrong. I mean, look at my writing. It's no wonder I find post-critical analysis more interesting, that deeper thought and everything, because everything I seem to write seems to be full of allusions and metaphors, and that's what post-critical analysis of things like religion is about. So that's why I personally don't subscribe, or I'm kind of uninterested by literalist views. But that doesn't mean they're wrong, I'm just special. I'm a special boy. But we are also in the greater narrative of my upcoming releases and my previous releases. So, if you look back at the Gemini Venom stuff, there's masks, keys, and the white suit I'm wearing, except I blurred that up. There are also a few allusions to the element of air. We had like the incense and things like that, the balcony, the big wall window thing. A lot of my stuff is kind of subtle. I didn't think people were just going to pick this up now until I start creating a pattern, which I do plan on doing. There was meant to be a music video coming out about a month later. With Rona all around and everything, I don't really want to endanger, people's health, both the people I would be bringing and anyone else around, so it might be postponed, which makes me sad, but the entire music industry and other industries are suffering. The whole world is suffering.
We could all suffer together.
The red and green are also the colors of Gucci. Look out for things to designer brands in the music videos upcoming. That's another link to Air. I imagine Gucci being the Air brand. There's also the Gucci snake, Gemini Venom. Gemini's an air sign. It's all very subtle. I'm sorry. This is why I make videos like this, explaining my thoughts. I like the fact that my songwriting leaves more to be discovered, I suppose. That there's a lot of subjectivity around what I might mean, and that you can pick that apart. You can go on your own journey of self-discovery there. I'm making it sound bigger than it is, but you can come to your own conclusions. You can discover it. It's not just fed to you. You've got to think about it a little bit. And some people don't like that, and that's fair. It's not for everyone, but it's the way I enjoy writing. It's the way that when I write about something, I feel proud of it after. I got into music because I used to write a lot of poetry, and I feel like you can really see that in my writing style. I think those are the only links to the greater narrative in this one. I think that's the whole thing. Can't wait till I have to learn to edit, because I don't do this whole YouTube thing. I'm gonna find myself incredibly cringy, but I would like to do things like this more often. If I am going to make very complicated stuff with lots of metaphors and allusions and whatever, I do think it is part of my responsibility to make things like this. I'd like to make some for my previous releases, for my future releases. I want to be doing a lot. So yeah, I do hope that you enjoyed this. I hope, future me who is editing this does a just job. And I hope the rest of you, you have a wonderful rest of your day or week or night. And I hope you're all self-isolating, but you're finding things to do. You're not too bored. You're taking this as an opportunity to reflect, to do creative things if that's your thing, to study if that's your thing, to learn new things about things or yourself. At the end of the day, Corona is here. But what we choose to do in that time is up to us. We are not in control of its presence, but we are in control of what we do. Thank you very much for listening. I'm hoping to do more with this YouTube channel. I don't just want to be this internet persona. When I did start out with Unsanctified and everything, that was my only plan. I was just going to be an internet persona, but I do want you guys to get to know me, seeing as I make a lot of personal work. Hi, this is me the following day, enjoying the budget outbreak I'm experiencing. I was just going through the torture of editing this, and I realized I didn't actually really film an outro because my battery ran out, and then when I put it back in, I must have rambled about something else. Who would have thought about that? And I must have forgotten to film a proper outro. So I'd just like to say thank you, and feel, ooh, I'm becoming a YouTuber again. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day, night, afternoon, lunch. Bye.